Here we are with a familiar boat to many, a vintage 13-foot Boston whaler. Her owner is doing a total refit, and Adam here is in charge of tackling a restoration of the stripped interior. We're going to be using the Total Boat Total Fair fairing compound and Total Boat Wet Edge topside paint in Whaler Blue. This part of the refit is going to be labor intensive with plenty of time sanding and grinding to remove the crazing that is typically found on lots of vintage whalers. We're going to get started by cleaning the interior lightly just to remove the dirt off the boat. Since we'll be making a big mess, we don't need the boat spotless, but just free of the dirt and debris. We'll then clean the surfaces with acetone. Anytime you're using an epoxy-based product, you should first clean the surface with acetone. We're going to be using a Dremel-type tool to grind out the larger cracks and crazes in the deck. Important spots to note are those near structural areas, like this one near the forward locker and aft near the transom. We'll be working with a pointed grinder tip to follow the crack and give it some more width to better accept the fairing compound. Smaller cracks along the cabin sole will be filled by the two-part epoxy-based primer we'll be using. We're then going to clean the boat again with a vacuum and more acetone because our next step is going to be to fill the ground-out areas with the fairing compound. Next, we're going to give the boat a quick sand to better prepare the surface for the fairing compound. We'll be using Total Boat's Total Fair fairing compound. It's easy to mix at a 1-to-1 ratio by volume that changes to a green color when the individual blue and yellow components are properly mixed. Total Fair can be used above or below the waterline and sands out nicely once dry after 3 hours at 80 degrees. Once you've taken a pass over the whole boat with the fairing compound and sanded it down, you'll notice that there are many low spots that'll need more fairing compound. After you sand those down and you get a nice smooth surface, you can clean the boat off and get it ready for the next phase, priming. We're using a two-part epoxy-based primer. It'll nicely fill the smaller areas that were too small to grind out. Take your time sanding to assure a totally smooth surface for painting. You'll have to clean and tack cloth one more time before you're ready for your final coat. We will be using Total Boat Wet Edge topside paint in Boston Whaler Blue. Wet Edge is a one-part high-gloss polyurethane paint that has excellent UV protection and is ideal for painting above the waterline. You can spray or brush the paint on, but in this case Adam will be using a brush because of the different contours and angles inside of the whaler. We'll be applying 2 coats to cover the gray primer, and Adam has lightly sanded between coats. You can see how the Whaler Blue paint has totally transformed the deck of this classic whaler. Filling and fairing the crazing has gotten us back to a smooth factory finish. Wet Edge paint is available in 20 colors and is available in quarts or gallons and only from Jamestown Distributors.